Once upon a time, in a snowy forest sparkling under the brilliant winter sun, there lived a clever fox named Fiona and a goofy wolf named Wally. Fiona had a bushy red tail that swished tellingly, her bright eyes sparkling with curiosity, while Wally had fluffy grey fur and a silly smile that stretched from ear to ear, always ready for a laugh. One chilly morning, Fiona trotted through the glistening snow toward their favourite meeting spot under a tall pine tree. The branches were heavy with white snow, creating a canopy of glittering crystals. "Wally, are you ready for another adventure?" she called, her voice bright and light like the sun reflecting off the snow. Wally came bounding out from behind the tree, tripping over his own paws and rolling into a snowy pile. "You're totally ready, Fiona," he exclaimed, brushing the snow off his fur with a huge grin. "What are we doing today?" "We're going on a treasure hunt," Fiona announced, her eyes twinkling with excitement. "I heard that the tastiest treats are hidden deep in the forest." "Oh boy, delicious treasures. Let's go find them," Wally yipped, wagging his fluffy tail as they set off, their laughter echoing through the trees. As they trekked through the forest, they came across a shimmering river adorned with ice crystals. Wally, being his goofy self, decided to dance on the slippery bank. "Look at me, I'm a graceful ice dancer," he declared, only to slide right into the cold water with a big splash. Fiona laughed out loud. "You're certainly a dancer, Wally. Just not the kind you think." As Wally emerged, shivering yet laughing, Fiona noticed colourful birds pecking at something shiny on the riverbank. "Look over there. Let's check it out," she suggested, leading Wally cautiously across the ice-covered stones. To their delight, they found a box filled with sparkling, sweet candies. The treats glimmered in the sunlight, and the sugary scent wafted through the air. "Candy, my favorite," Wally yelped, bouncing with joy. "But how do we take it? It's too heavy to carry." Fiona thought for a moment, her clever mind racing. She grabbed a colourful scarf hanging from a nearby branch and turned it into a makeshift sack. "Let's fill this scarf with as many candies as we can," she said, expertly gathering the candy. But just then, a group of mischievous squirrels spotted the pair. "Hey, that candy is ours," chattered one tiny squirrel, hopping down from a branch. The other squirrels joined in, chattering and jumping around like little acrobats. Wally, ever the goofy one, attempted to scare them off. He made a loud growling noise, but it came out more like a silly howl, making the squirrels giggle instead. Fiona rolled her eyes but had a thought. Wait, Wally. Maybe we can have a candy share. Sure, like friends. Wally asked, tilting his head. Fiona nodded and explained how they could enjoy the treats together. The squirrels liked the idea and agreed. With laughter and joy, they spent the afternoon sharing candies, bantering, and making silly games. Fiona and Wally learned that sharing not only filled their bones, but also created new friends. With their bellies full and new friendships forged, Fiona suggested they move on to find more treasures. As they continued their journey, they ventured into a grove where the trees grew heavy with a sweet-smelling fruit. Look at those apples. They're enormous, Wally exclaimed. But picking the apples was no easy task. As they reached for the fruits, the wind suddenly blew, sending a flurry of snowflakes swirling all around them. Whoa! Wally yelled, losing his balance and landing in a heap of snow again. Fiona chuckled. Watch out, Wally. She quickly climbed the tree, using her agility to reach the tastiest apple at the top. With a triumphant grin, she tossed it down to Wally, who caught it in mid-air, his eyes wide with surprise. Got it, I'm the king of apple catching, he declared proudly, even managing to balance it on his nose. Then came the challenge of getting that down. Fiona called out, Wally, just drop it. You can't eat it up there, but it's so high. I'll get stuck, Wally huffed, shaking his furry head. Fiona giggled. Don't be silly, just let it go. After a moment of hesitation, Wally finally dropped the apple. It rolled into the snow, and he slid down the tree trunk, landing perfectly next to it. Tasting, he said, munching happily. Now we have apples and candy, Fiona cheered. They could hardly contain their excitement. But their adventure was just beginning. As they strolled through the forest, a shadow loomed over them. Hovering above were colorful creatures called Frost Flitters, tiny sparkling-eyed fairies who glided gracefully on the cold winds. What are you two up to? One of the fairies chimed, hovering in front of their noses. were finding the tastiest treats, exclaimed Wally, his mouth still full of apple. The fairies giggled. We can help. Follow us. With a sprinkle of magic glitter, they led Fiona and Wally to a hidden glen, filled with every treat: imaginable chocolate fountains, gumdrop mountains, and cotton candy clouds. The sight took their breath away. This is amazing. We're in a candy wonderland, Wally shouted, his goofy grin now wider than ever. They rushed in, grabbing handfuls of sweets and laughing joyfully as they jumped into fluffy mounds of candy. Suddenly, Fiona had an idea. Let's have a treat-making contest, she declared, clapping her paws together in excitement. They gathered ingredients and got creative. Wally was clumsy, his cotton candy sculpture falling over sideways, but he just laughed with delight at every mistake, while Fiona crafted elegant sweet sculptures, mixing flavors perfectly. The fairies judged their creations, and after much deliberation, they declared, "We love Wally's silly bear." Everyone burst into laughter. Even Wally, who was proud despite the messy result. They spent the afternoon laughing, making more silly treats, and sharing stories, filling the glen with delight. But soon the moon began to rise, casting beautiful silvery light over the snowy forest, signaling it was time to go home. Fiona and Wally waved goodbye to their new fairy friends and began to head through the forest with their treasure-filled scarves. As they walked together, Wally said, "Today was the best. I've never had so much fun, Fiona. I'm glad we had this adventure together, Wally. And remember, it's not just about the treats, it's about the friends we make along the way," Fiona replied with a smile. When they finally reached their favorite meeting spot, the moon lit the snowy forest in a soft glow. Wally turned to Fiona. "Can we plan another adventure tomorrow? There's so much more to explore." "Absolutely." Fiona giggled, looking around at their snowy kingdom. Together, they looked forward to endless laughter, wild adventures, and a friendship that was sweeter than any candy they could ever find. And from that day on, Fiona and Wally became the best of friends, known throughout the forest for their silly adventures and the laughter they shared in creating special treats, reminding everyone that the sweetest treasures are the ones you share with friends.